DDLC review. Go watch it now. It's really good, I promise. I had a revelation recently. Godzilla on PS4 came out 9 years ago. I mean, more accurately, as of this video, it's closer to 8.5 years ago, but you get what I'm saying. That is a pretty long time, it would seem. And that other game, Cities Shrouded in Shadow, which isn't really a Godzilla game, but does feature him and several other IPs within it, came out about 6 years ago. In that time, the King of the Monsters hasn't had much of a presence in games, at least non-mobile ones, and this gets me asking, is it time for another one? Right off the bat, it's worth mentioning that neither of the two games I've mentioned so far were particularly well received upon release. Well, more so the Godzilla PS4 game. While it fared a little better in its native Japan, internationally it was pretty much torn to pieces. Cities Shrouded in Shadow was a bit more warmly received, but I think anybody will tell you that was mainly down to the novelty of it. Like, sure, it's buggy, laggy, and very few people outside of Japan would have even known what was going on half the time due to the game being entirely in Japanese, but look, it's Godzilla, look, it's Gamera, look, it's the Ava units, and so on and so forth, and that's just about the only reason anybody should play it. Not that it's necessarily bad for a game to mainly appeal to fans of the property first, but that doesn't mean it can't offer something a little more substantial. Of course, everyone references the Pipeworks trilogy, mostly the first two, as the definitive representation of this character and its monster co-stars. Even though the reception to the series was overall mixed, it didn't become outright negative until Unleashed, and for what the game set out to do, most would consider them a success. It's debatable whether they really hold up today, but fans learn to take what they can get, and they get it mostly right. Maybe they could do with an update, but I'm not sure that's what I want. We've had so many Godzilla fighting games that I think it'd be interesting to get something else. The most obvious genre beyond the purview of a fighting game is another Godzilla destruction simulator along the same lines as Godzilla Generations or the aforementioned PS4 game. As you can tell from those being the two examples I listed, this is a style that hasn't exactly been perfected, as while both of these games have their heart in the right place, the execution was deemed unsatisfactory by many. Then again, maybe the monotony comes with the territory. I want to go back to Cities Shrouded in Shadow, as well as the mobile game released to tie in with the 2014 Gareth Edwards G-film, Godzilla Strike Zone. Both of these games have the very interesting premise of taking the big monsters out of the player's control, and instead have you play as people on the ground running away from the kaiju, like a video game rendition of Cloverfield. While neither game is anything great, I think both had the right idea in trying to show that a monster game that doesn't have you playing as the monsters can still be just as interesting. Maybe, and I'm probably the only person on planet Earth that wants this, you could even have a game that moves away from having lots of action and set pieces, and instead move towards a genre having more emphasis on story. A lot of people forget that for as many Godzilla movies as there are that mostly emphasize spectacle, there are a lot of other ones that are actually a fair bit more talky and plot heavy than one might expect. Maybe we could have a game that fits in a little more stylistically with those installments without forgetting it's still a kaiju property at the end of the day. Or maybe we could even have a combination game that fits multiple different genres into one, perhaps serving to tribute how many varied styles and genres appear in the film series itself. I don't know, just do something. With the gap of time between us and the release of the 2014 game only getting wider, and it seeming like nobody wants to make more Godzilla games, maybe sitting around and waiting for some developer to finally answer our prayers is the wrong thing to do. Maybe we, as fans, should be taking matters into our own hands, since as has been proven time and time again, it often seems like random fans and hobbyists have a better understanding of major franchises than the rights holders do. That wasn't a challenge or anything, by the way, but feel free to treat it like one. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and until next time, see ya.